Hola.
Hola.
Then. Yes, basically, thank you for coming all the way here. Muchas gracias por venir aquí. For me, it's a privilege to take part of the project Mouth of the Gods, which was a kind of a new experience for me in my career as a musician, especially as an Andean musician. I specialize in Andean and Latin American music, mainly to do with panpipes, quenas, and charangos. When I was a child, when I was 13, I went to the conservatory, but I didn't really have a good time there. So I went to an event at the British Museum, I think, and I met Rafael and John there. They were performing there, and I thought that was fantastic. The fusion of the baroque music. So I went to talk to him about it, and I said, congratulate him about it, and it was kind of a connection there for me because I like what they did, and I imagine myself in. I kind of had a wave, like a dream or something like that. I saw myself in there, and it quite often happens to me that something I want already happens, and eventually it does happen. I don't know if that's connected to something you really want. You're gonna make it happen, or things are gonna happen anyway. But could be destiny. So we did another project that was called San Francisco, and it went very well. Also directed by Marco Walling, and in one of the rehearsals, he liked what I was doing because everything happened there. I have to create it. I have to create the whole drum session and adapt my readings or my experience to what they were asking about it. Obviously, I'm very familiar with Latin American music, and I play percussion as well. So it wasn't very difficult, but it was about the language, the communication of the classical music, and for me, at the beginning it was very hard. I was sweating all the time because I felt really nervous of being put in a situation that out of my comfort zone. And that was the great thing about it, being out of your comfort zone. That it made me actually study and and bring back my a small knowledge of my classical training, which it was quite sporadic, not very long. One of the reasons for that is because I was already playing the Andean music, so for them that wasn't classified as music. So I didn't like that fact that they didn't acknowledge the music, although I got a scholarship there because they thought I was very good. At 13 years old, I was very good playing music. So so I left. I lasted only a year, but that very little knowledge I gained from that, it actually helped me to see the score and that. First of all, it was very blurry, I was trying to, for all the time of my career, I always avoided score music because I didn't feel comfortable with it. So, so that was, but I felt very welcome there by everybody, and they show a lot of patience to me of understanding the score, not the music, because the music for me is easy to understand. They were playing rhythms that I played all my childhood, rhythms that even I know probably before I was born. Uh, it's something that it's something genetic there that comes from generations, because my mom and my parents and my um, grandparents and great-grandparents, they musicians as well. So, but it was about to understand the map, the score of, the guidance. So for me, that was a difficult part of it. So yeah, I was invited by Michael Wallen there. He liked what I was doing, and also for me, it wasn't really an act. Life is a performance. Life is something I do every day. You have to do your best to perform out to your best, and trying to follow your principles or things that you have learned from your childhood, things that you have, things that carry on in your DNA, also. And there are also fights that you do, your personal fights, and so all that comes to in consideration. So for me, it says you do this, you do that. That was normal because I don't have to be an actor to represent myself, to represent indigenous ways or indigenous tradition, or expressions that for us it becomes something natural. Probably if somebody asks us to do something, technically we might not understand it, but if it's already in us, so we don't have to act, so that was a great experience to be part of the Mouth of the Gods, and the process was long, quite intense. The musicians, they are very, very high young musicians. I felt like a dinosaur in there because everybody was young. But I was very well appreciated by these very highly standard musicians. And I felt, connected to these young people, which they had a lot of respect for our music. And that's so important when you doing a production, to have a connection, to connect with other people and have that sort of respect. And they had a lot of respect for what I did. They were listening to what I was trying to do and say, they took in consideration my inputs rhythmically, because the classical music is played one way and our music is played in so many ways. Today we play like that, tomorrow we play different, because we act according to our emotions and feelings. Music is very much connected to the emotion and feelings. So every time we perform or we play something, there's a song that I play called the Condor Pasa, which is a very famous song. And in the thousands of times that I played, I don't think I ever played the same, similar. So, but that's one of the challenges for me, that you have to follow the map, follow the score, and you have to take consideration that you cannot go out of that thing and that. But nevertheless, I managed to stretch a little bit and push the rhythms and make them to understand how the rhythms work for us, because that was the plan. The idea is a little bit of it's baroque music with the indigenous input. So for me, that was a natural thing to do, something that it didn't come out of arrogance, but it came as a natural impulse of making stand our rhythms, because the rhythms we have they are connecting to the pulse and to the heart. And if you don't have the connection, and the music doesn't have that pulse, that beat. You can't really connect spiritually to the hearts of people. So, in following the concept or that philosophy, I was trying to add the input in the in the baroque music, which is already it's beautiful music. So that was the musical side of it. The philosophical side of it is that I learned so much as well. I also I learned about being able to appreciate the work of artists rather than the colonization. I was trying to put aside the feelings of my people being slaves or being colonized and being mutilated and slandered. So I put that aside, and I believe the music brings this feeling of forgiveness, this feeling of that you have to look forward to, with something better, and that music shows, the beauty of music, and the music feels sincere. It doesn't. It's not pretentious. It's sincere. It's happy, and it's connected to the spiritual world. The Hanakpacha, which we call it. So it wasn't a difficult thing for me to understand or to accept. Something I've been working many years to understand about. So for me, that was the part that is, do I really want to be in this? I also even got criticized by certain friends and musicians, close musicians, that, what I was doing is I'm supporting Christian music or something like that. That is, Christianity is what destroy our culture and that. But it's not true. They haven't destroyed. What they did is they tried to take over our own traditions. Like we already had everything they celebrate in Peru or in the Andes, they already existed. So in order for the Christians to Christianize, they took over and they changed the name and they put it, like Pachamama, they call Virgen Maria, or Huiracocha is God, you know what I mean? So I don't think we haven't died. As a culture, as a philosophy, as a religion, we are still there. And the fact that I'm here, the fact that I went there and there, that is an statement. That means that, we are here, we are there. And if we have this attitude of, no, that means that you preventing yourself to actually being there. Because the idea is the colonization. The idea is that, I'm still here. No matter what you did, I'm still here. I'm still strong with the philosophy, with the music. So I managed to go through that. So it was full of feelings, the music, I call it a little bit of trauma of classical music for me, and also the cultural side of it, playing Christian music and that. But I don't see music as a political party or as a religion. Music is everything. So I don't catalog music as one thing. Music is everywhere. Music is with birds, plants, everything. So you shouldn't prevent it to play here and there. Actually, it has to be accessible. What's the point if I'm going to be in the mountains just playing for that? It's great. It's lovely for me, but I'm not promoting it. I'm not chanting. So that's what I'm here. this place is full of lots of things, and we're creating a change. So wherever we get involved has a purpose, has a meaning. I was lucky enough to be part of the Mouth of the Gods, but indirectly it was something that a path that I was already following, because I'm here for a purpose. I'm here to make a change, and without trying to impose something. It's more like sharing and connecting, and making an awareness of who we are as a culture, that we are not a threat. We actually are adding to this, to these countries. We got so much. There's so much value, so much things. In my everyday job, you see a lot of loneliness, because I work with elderly and disabled people. So that comes the philosophy of duality. I do this, I do music, but I do my job. It's all connected. One cannot be apart from the other. And it's not about masculine or feminine. It's not about that. It's about having one thing and having the other, and then connect them together. Yes. So that was, for me, the Mouth of the God was a good opportunity to be there, to put my presence in there, and to put my input, my own understanding of the music, and also learn from these very highly musicians, which is, I have a lot of respect. And also I met wonderful people there, that I work with. It was a moment where the actors, they were doing a scene about Tupac Amaru. Tupac Amaru was one of the last person that go against the Spanish, and he got mutilated, he got tied with the four members, and he's got dismembered by horses, and in the main piazza, the main square of Cusco. And they were doing that scene, this priest and these English actors, which they're fantastic. But in that moment, I had my bombo here and my mallet, my thing. I hated them so much. I transported myself to that moment, and I really wanted to hit them. And that shows how good they are. They were so good that they made me feel made me hated. After that we had conversation and we talked to each other, and there was they're great actors, because they made me believe that feeling, but also it transported me to what would it be like to be in that time. Although the hardship has not changed, because there is so much corruption in Peru, so much, everything is not going very well in Peru, and families having very hard time in there. And one of the reasons we left Peru as well. So that it was great to experience that moment, and I felt happy, privileged to be there, and directed by Michael Walling, which is I kind of understood exactly what he wanted, and I have a lot of respect for everybody there. Everybody worked so hard. It was long hours, and also having the mantle, which is amazing, bringing that tradition back to here in London. It's kind of surreal, but it's something that meant to happen. Nothing is a coincidence. Something has to happen. Changes are because there's a necessity. There is no coincidence, or there is no an accident, something. Changes are because there's a need for something. And nature is amazing that it creates it creates a environment, opportunity, and it's almost like a little computer in there, a big computer puts things one here, you meet, together, and then you come with something like that. Hopefully to to create an awareness to a better society, because we live here. I've been here 35 years, and a lot of the things are much better. Racism is different now. Prejudice is different. It's not the same now. It has a different mask. But it's something that's been for years and generations, hundreds of years, and we humans haven't really learned. It's so much we have to learn, and now there's a harmony with everything. So yeah.
Beautiful what you explained to us. I think it's really interesting to see the clash of the Andean music, let's say, with the baroque music, as you said. But it's interesting to see that you did learn about it a bit when you were a kid, and that was quite hard to kind of bring it back in a way. And also, I would like to know a bit more about how much you know about the instruments or the research you went through before doing this project, because it was a long year about it, right? Like you did go through a research, or you went to a museum, Horniman Museum.
Oh, to the Horniman Museum.
Yeah. How was that to encounter there certain instruments that were obviously from your culture, and you also knew how they work?
Again, there's it's two feelings there. I'm always have two feelings, and it's important to be able to to have a clarity in you, in yourself. Have a good feeling about things. You need to have two feelings. One is not necessarily negative, but there's museums are. In the old days, used to be kind of like looted, taking stuff from places and and use them commercially. So going to sacred places and take what belongs there. Things should not be touched. So that was my first feeling. Do I want to be part of a museum which a lot of my ancestors' artifacts or instruments or are there. So that was a kind of the strong feeling about it. And the second, the other feeling was, the only opportunity for people to actually experience this, because they can't go there or they can't see or create an awareness that how amazing the culture was, is by museums, by historians, by my family there's archaeologists and anthropologists, so it's I understand that that's important. Science is important to create an awareness. So I agreed to do that. It was kind of a little bit worrying, because I don't I didn't want to give a miss, say things wrong about it, and but we're lucky that in Peru we studied that when we were kids, and because that's part of so you have to learn more and read more. So in Peru, we study what is called Historia del Perú, and it teaches the whole cultures that you do. And then we have Historia Universal, it teaches the whole cultures around the world. So when I did my citizenship, they asked me about the quiz, this and that. I already knew that, because I studied here, because in Peru that was all the subjects. you have to learn all this. But equally, as a musician, we have to take an interest of these things. And so, first of all, I thought we're gonna go to the Horniman Museum, which I've been many times. I performed there as well. But it was actually going to the depot, to an area which felt really sacred. So being there, it kind of have a sacred, for me, entering a sacred place full of ancient artifacts. So that was a very emotional feeling for me. I appreciated the fact that I had access to something so important, so special. Because every culture, everything that was there, it's just amazing, things that people use many hundreds of thousands of years ago. So I felt like privileged to be there, and you have to put the white, how do you call that, gloves and all of that, like almost like being there, like, scientists and that. So I felt a little bit, my ego fell a little bit on the air in that way, in a privileged way. I'm being asked about the instruments and the things in there, it really put us on the spot. But a lot of the things came quite natural because we know some of them, and the instruments, the things, the cats or the dolls, which is the dolls. There's, when somebody dies, you put a doll in there, it keeps you company, or the things that belong to that person, you put them together there, so you take everything with you to the next life, So, and also it shows all the instruments as well, and it came, I think, to the sikus, which is there's two sides of the sikus, one which is something, I think we talk about the duality, that one depends on the other. It's like two rows of pan pipes. I give you one side, I play the other. I can only play the melody if we play together. Otherwise, it will sound empty. So the only way to play this sikus is by two people, and we have to depend on each other. We have to connect. We have to practice together, and you do this answering technique. You play one sound, I play the other, and that combination of sounds makes a melody. And that's what life is all about, day and night. Your spirit, you have the dark side, you have the other side. And it depends how you feed is the one that prevails, is the one that comes alive more. So it's something that we encounter in every day. Everything we do is a duality. Thoughts, one thought here, one there, like a little devil, little angel, that's. So it is a philosophy of our ancestors as well, that duality, one depends on the sun, the night, the moon. The moon, is in charge of the crops, the sun, the water. The water purifies the spirit, things like that. And the Pachamama is something that is not just a Mother Earth. Pachamama is everything. It's a connection of everything. It's not just the earth. Everything is around us. Pachamama is so. It's a beautiful philosophy, and it's something that we try to express in the music. So, for our ancestors, the the instruments they made, they actually took on consideration all of these things. It was to devotion of the natural elements, like like the sun, the moon. Everything was all the instruments that were connected to the season time and you know, the harvesting, the planting and the crops. So we play music to encourage, you know, production, and also we play music to harvest. We play music for the rain, we play music for the sun. We play music to court somebody, you know, so like birds. Birds, they do that all the time, isn't it? The birds, they have beautiful feathers and they whistle, isn't it? And then if your whistle is nice, you know, the other bird might come and find interest in you, you know. So life is like that.
And for example, as you are saying about this duality, could you make happen that duality when you were playing with the baroque musicians?
Absolutely, absolutely. It was, I had two different feelings in there, and I have to make myself understand, or make myself, you know, this is okay. You know, it's nothing wrong, because something negative will anything negative, I think, is not right. Something that is, you think is a bit difficult, but you add something positive in there, you know, is important. So yeah, you could say that, you know, the addings of our drums and flutes and you know, instruments that I added to the production of the Mouse of Gods. It was it had a duality inspiration, you know, and because the classical musicians, they have to understand what I was doing, and so do I. So we have to connect, you know. We depended on each other. Before they only depended in the score, but then suddenly it's me there, you know, with these big drums and there. So they're not on their own. They cannot just read; they have to feel. So hopefully I made them feel the beat in, you know, in a different way, and hopefully that added a little bit something extra for them as an experience as well.
I'm sure they did. And also, you haven't involved yourself in this with border crossings only for the Mouth of God, but also in another time, if I'm not wrong, that was when you were visiting the East 15 Drama School. Would you like to tell us a bit about that experience, how you felt about it?
Well, that came as a surprise. Everything that I do comes as a surprise. As I said, I accept it naturally. As I said, everything meant to be. But it was a great opportunity to be in direct contact with the young actors there, which Michael and Lucy, they were working on it, and they wanted an input of an artist, you know, that was directly involved in the production, to ask questions and you know, and also it was a good opportunity to I think the Mouse of the Gods for me had it had a statement to say as well, not just it wasn't just a theatrical drama. What I like is, you know, you are suddenly with Indigenous, with Tupac Amaru, you know, being and then you're talking about what's happening now, with the situations happening now. So that projection between the past and the future, which in a way hasn't changed very much. So it was good to give the young students a little bit of reality of the actors also have a responsibility. As any artist has a responsibility to society, and I think my opportunity there was great because although they asked me questions about it, how difficult it was for me, we talk about migration as well, because it's some of the students there are quite majority. They weren't English, and so that was great. And also they were more like if I dare to say, a big percentage of white people, more, which is nothing wrong. It's just that but I was amazed that a lot of these kids, they have a very clear idea of the situation, and they nowadays it's not hidden what's happening, and for me that was a nice enlightenment to that. I felt there's hope in there, and so for me that was great to exchange and share experience with them, and see that that they're gonna do and get involved, and do more like a reality acting, not so much about try to do the plays that shows a reality of the life, the situation, that so they know. So it's strange to what's happening at the moment. So that was a great experience for me to go all the way there, and
I was wondering also if, as you said before, some people of your community at the beginning, they weren't really happy with you when it comes to taking part in this project. I was wondering if their opinion changed once they saw the show and what it meant, what was actually the point of the show and all that. Do you think their perception changed with your involvement in that?
I think the perception has changed because of life situations, and I think it has. I think we have worked on it, and also life experience makes you have more empathy, and not be so close about something. I think, and that takes time, and that. But yeah, that's. Not everybody has the opportunity to understand the meaning of being there. So I have a brass band that I play, that we play in this Catholic church for a kind of saint in Peru that is called Señor de los Milagros, which is black. And also I was looking for musicians. I was told that was wrong what I was doing, supporting them. They're traitors, they're killers, they bad people. But I tried to show them that really the people that celebrate, that has nothing to do with what happened. It's our people, our communities. It's an opportunity for them to be together. And we as musicians have the possibility of be part of it, support the community, not support the church, or not support the Christianity, support the people, the community. That's our aim. That is over there. There's a poet called Cesar Vallejo that said, every form or expression of art that comes from people should go back to people, and that's what we try to follow. My family follow that. Be accessible to to charity, to things that involve communities, that bring people community together. And if they go to church, who am I to there's nothing wrong with that. And also, it's a proof that I'm very clear of who I am, because I can go to a mosque, I can go to a church, we rehearse in a Mormon's church, which our friend is Mormon, and we feel really welcome in there. There's not nastiness. It's the perception of things, what's wrong in this world. It's not about the principle. The principle is always there. Christianity, all of that is good. What the Muslims do, the philosophy, the principle is great. It's the way we perceive it, the way we do it, we act towards them, and we feel an arrogance our is best. Nobody is better, So being in a church or being in the parliament, we play for the queen. We play, it doesn't make me, she's a queen. It's great. I have a lot of respect for her because you don't meet a queen all the time, and doesn't make me, realistic. I am not a royal supporter, but meeting a queen is an amazing feeling. And it doesn't make me wrong for feeling that. Or Princess Diana, or meeting, even if I meet Mr. Trump, I don't like him, but you understand that, so it was an opportunity for me to tell you what I feel, maybe. So it's important that we are accessible to community, to people. Obviously, it's not about we don't like to be used or abused, but we have to be, as an artist, as a musician, as a folk musicians, we have to be accessible to especially to our communities.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to see how you champion that, how you want people to know more about your community by using music as a way. Would you like to share with us also your festivity that you have mentioned me before this interview? Would you like to tell us?
Oh yes, we are a family band. In our band is 3 generations in a band. My dad, my sons, and my brother. We try to keep the music within the family, and we have different people as well. And we saw, we were part of many festivals, especially Latin American festival or Latin festivals. And that was a very small space for the Andean side of it. And I thought there was a need for a proper, I wouldn't say proper, but a festival that showcase mainly all to do with the Andean culture, And when we talk about Andean culture, it's not just Peru, it's Ecuador, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, so Venezuela. So it's about the chain of mountains, which is called Cordillera de los Andes, that runs all the way down from Chile to Venezuela. So the plan was to get everybody involved in there in one community, because the plan is to be a community. At the moment, we all divided. Ecuadorian, Bolivian. So the idea is to be united. And Latin is not really a word we like to use because it's not, it doesn't represent us. When they say, obviously, everybody calls us Latin Americans, yeah, but really, maybe Ibéricos. I don't know. I don't think we're Latin, isn't it? Because we're not Latin, really, isn't it? So that's why we wanted to have this festival, which I invited the border crossing there, and they kindly came and do a show of the manto. They did a workshop in there, and the idea was to also find some dancers that to be part of the festival, and it was great. And we have built up a really good partnership between Border Crossing and Festival Andino, and it's really great that we are more. We have the same aims and aspirations, for a better community, I think. So this festival, it happens on the 27th of June this year, and it's going to be in a park called the Field Park. Field in Camberwell. And as I said, the idea is a showcase of the music, the culture, the dancers, the food. And this year is the fifth anniversary, so we're going to try to make a little bit more stand out, special and that. So we're going to do some workshops of vampire workshops and dance workshops and that. So we're going to showcase them at the festival.
Amazing.
You're very welcome to come.
I will go for sure. Yeah. Would you like to share more things about your involvement in border crossing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I went to the 30th anniversary, which is coincide with my band, our band, Kausari 30th anniversary as well, which Lucy, kindly came and helped us, and unfortunately Michael couldn't make it. But I think there is a strong relationship there, and I really like working with them, and I hope it's not the first time I do something together. Especially that Michael is a director in theater and which is something I really love as well. Because as a kid I used to study that as well. So, but I think it's a life organic relationship there. So I'm sure there will be many other projects that we work together, and in fact there is one coming soon, which is tomorrow, isn't it? Tomorrow is going to be the Syria. I'm going to be there.
Friday.
Yeah, I'm going to be there, and it's an amazing thing they do, and I hope they keep working on that, and.